Alright, this video I'm going to show you guys how to clear a firearm. If you find a firearm laying around, you don't know if it's clear or not, then you need to figure out how it's clear. Or maybe you're at the range and you're done shooting, you still have rounds left, something happens and you have to stop shooting. You need to know how to clear your gun or check to see if it's safe. So I have a few different options here. I got a couple different pistols, a few different rifles, a shotgun, and it's basically going to cover the popular style firearms that the majority of us are going to have. So I guess first thing I'm going to do is we're going to start with this pistol here. This is a Smith Wesson 908. This particular one is 9mm, semi-automatic. So first thing you're going to do when touching any firearm is keep your finger off the trigger. I mean, it's good practice to just do this every time, even if it's your gun, you know it's clear. Just keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot it, basically. So the magazine will be inside the gun. So what you're going to do, first step is keep your finger off the trigger. Second step, you're going to look for the magazine release. Most semi-automatic pistols, it's going to be on your thumb side if you're a right-handed shooter. You're going to push that button in, releasing the magazine out. You can see that there's rounds in there. So you want to make sure that there's nothing inside the chamber now. So doing that, you're going to pull this back. This is your top slide. And if there was something in there and your extractor and all that worked properly, the round would have shot out the side of the gun as if you just shot one and shot the spent casing out. But there's obviously not a round in here, so what you're going to do is you're going to look up, toward light, put this toward light, and look down through the chamber. And if you can see sunlight through the barrel, 100% you're clear. So we'll move on to a revolver now. This is a Taurus 38 Special. This particular one has nothing in it right now. It's completely empty. But if there was rounds in it, you'd be able to see them on the side. I don't know if you can see that back in there. And what you're going to do, there's nothing in the chamber right now. The chamber one, if I pulled the trigger though, it would spin in that direction. So you want to make sure, again, you keep your finger off of the trigger. This particular revolver has a button right on the side, and you're going to push it forward, push the cylinder out. The cylinder's going to come out to the left side, and you're going to tilt it back. You're going to take the rounds out. If they don't all fall out, you can push this little bar up in the front here, and that'll release whatever's left in the cylinder if they're not coming out on their own. So this gun is now clear. And the only way, once it's open like this, it's clear and there's no bullets in there. There's no way that there can be anything, in the barrel area right here. It's not how this gun works. And if there is, there's no way of closing this. And it just won't work that way. So once you got the cylinder open and you can see that there's no rounds in the cylinder, the revolver's clear. So we'll move on now to a shotgun. This particular one is a Mossberg 500. It's a 12 gauge pump action shotgun. So the first step again is to keep your finger off the trigger. Second step would be to take out the magazine as you did on the semi-automatic pistol here, but this one has a fixed magazine. So what you're going to do is you're going to empty the magazine. Leave the magazine on the gun, obviously. Just empty whatever's in there out. And you can see, you could look through there, see if you see the stopper tube or the stopper thing in the magazine tube. It's usually a bright colored, so you can see it's empty. And then what you're going to do next is this particular gun, Mossberg 500, has the release up here. It's going to be where your thumb would be if you had really big hands. You're going to push that up. You're going to pull that back like you're getting ready to chamber a round. And if there was a round in the chamber, it would have ejected out the side as you pulled it back like that. And you could, again, put this up to some kind of light or something like that and look through the chamber. And if you see sunlight coming through from the barrel, you know that the rifle's clear. The shotgun's clear, I'm sorry. That's it for the shotgun. we're going to move on to, I guess we'll do a bolt action rifle here. This is a Russian Mosin Nagant 9130. Don't mind it, it's under construction right now, it's being redone. But again, you're going to keep your finger off the trigger, and what you're going to do is you're going to pull that up, pull that back. You know, this represents all bolt action rifles. And if there was something in the chamber and the extractor was working properly, again, it would have shot the live round out the side of the ejection port here. And if there was anything in the magazine, you'd be able to see it, obviously, right down there, waiting to go in to the chamber to shoot. So you could obviously see that this one's clear. You stick your finger in there, you could reach in, you could put it up to the light again. If you're seeing any sunlight come through the barrel, you know you're clear. So we're going to set this one off to the side, and we will go for another popular type of rifle. This is Ruger 1022 that I've done a bunch of crap to. So first thing we're going to do is keep your finger off the trigger. This one actually has the BMF activator on it, minus the crank, so I can lay it down in the case. But keep your finger off the trigger. Second step, pull out the magazine. Magazine release on this one is like typical, you know, rifle. It's a little lever right in front of the magazine and behind the magazine and in front of your trigger guard. So you're going to pull out the magazine, visually inspect that, see if there's anything in there. If there was, you'd be able to see it on the top. You're going to take your charging handle, pull it back, and again, if the extractor was working, the live round that was in the chamber would have shot out the side. Since we're not sure if the extractor works, again, we're going to shine it up, put it up towards some light, and visually look through the chamber and see if we could see some kind of sunlight coming through it. And if you do, you know it's clear. If not, there's something in there and you want to get rid of it. This particular gun, you can lock the bolt back, pushing a little lever down here. If you have this gun, you know how to do that. Obviously, that makes it easier to inspect it. Again, you could also do that with this pistol right here. Like as if you were shooting it, your last shot, it would lock back on its own. You could also do that manually. You got to hold it back. It's a little rough to do. What I do is I pull it back with my left hand. With my right thumb, I'll push up the lever over there, hold it back. So now it's, you know, it's locked back, and you can visually look through and without holding the thing. You can pretty much do that with all the rifles. That being said, most people can't do that with this particular rifle right here. This is AK47 Clone. But this particular one has the cutout on the safety lever, so you can actually pull it back, pull the safety up, and lock the bolt back in an open position. But alright, so this one is going to represent our semi-automatic rifle type with the, you know, the government calls the assault style weapon or whatever. So again, first thing you're going to do is make sure you keep your finger away from the trigger. If you want to hold it on the grip, just make sure you keep your pointer out. First step after that is to pull the magazine out. This particular rifle is exactly like the Ruger 1022 with the release back there. Get rid of the magazine. You can see that there's something in there, so we're going to go and we're going to inspect the chamber now. And like every other rifle we did, we're going to pull back the action, and if there was something in there, again, it would have, if the extractor was working, it would have shot out the side. And we're going to shine it up, you know, we're going to look, put the barrel toward light, look through the chamber. If we see light coming through, we know that it's clear. And we're looking through and it's clear. And like I was mentioning before, this particular AK clone has the safety, the cutout and the safety selector, so you can hold the bolt open. So, I guess as a quick overview or whatever, if you understand the way a firearm works, all the guns I showed you just now work exactly the same except for the revolver. The revolver has like this revolving cylinder, and the action is different. It's not run like these. But this gun right here basically runs the same as this gun right here and this gun right here. But on this gun and the 9130, you're just manually making the action happen, opposed to this one and this one where it's happening automatically for you. So what happens is you have your magazine, which is loaded up. Put the magazine in. You pull this back. This is your charging handle, as the same as if you were to pull your slide back on a semi-automatic pistol or cocking the shotgun. As you're pulling it back, it goes over the magazine. You push it forward. As you let it go forward, it's actually going to strip around out of the top of the magazine, putting it into the chamber. Then what you would do is you would pull the trigger. This is on all the semi-automatic ones. You would pull the trigger. This whole thing that you just did, pulling it back and letting it go, would happen on its own. Whole thing would shoot back, and on the backstroke, it would eject the shot casing, the one that you just shot. It's called the spent casing, out the side, and on its return home, it would strip another round out of the magazine, loading the chamber. So every time you shoot a semi-automatic gun, as long as the magazine has a few rounds in it, there's always going to be another one in the chamber ready to go right after you shot the first one. So, if there can always be another round in the chamber when you pick up a gun. You don't know what the person was doing the last time they shot it, or they maybe weren't thinking, or something happened, they had to go and had to stop shooting, and there were still rounds in the chamber. Not everyone takes firearms safety seriously, so you have to, account for that kind of stuff. But, yeah, like I said, all the firearms work in the same way. The bolt goes back, goes forward, stripping a round out of the magazine, loading it into the chamber. You pull the trigger, it's ready to go. So anytime you pick up a gun, you just want to manipulate that action by hand. If there's a round in the chamber, you're going to pull it back manually, and it would eject it out the side, like we talked about earlier in this video. So this should cover the majority of the firearm styles that the majority of us have. And if it doesn't, and you're not sure, and you can't find another video, just feel free to ask, because it's nothing more important than safety when it comes to these things. And if you love your guns and you do something stupid with it, I guarantee you that'll be it for your firearms privilege, because technically it is a privilege. They could your guns could be taken away from you in the blink of an eye if you do something stupid like that. And then God forbid, you kill someone by accident. You got to deal with that too, on top of not having your guns. You have to live with the fact that you just took somebody out. That was a preventable mistake. So any questions on anything I might have missed or anything like that, feel free to ask, and I'll help you guys out.